Here's the bear. Alex did the burning process on it. Now we just gotta give it a quick flap sand with the sander, and then do some details with paint, and she should be finished. And of course we need to complete the sign. So I just got some used sandpaper here, different grits, closer to some 120, some 80. Ideally with a stronger backing than paper, so these are meant for Velcro sander. But anyway, the best I think are for belt sanders, but I didn't have any. I'm using this and it's working all right. But basically you just keep the drill chuck away from the thing, otherwise it kind of catches, and you just move it around. I'm just looking to take off a little bit, something like this, just to give it a little more texture so it has a little more color, not all black. Hello again. So it's been a little while since I've been doing any filming. Well, basically I've been running out of time. I'm only here at my parent-in-law's for so long, just hanging out around Christmas, and then I'm heading back to the sailboat. If you're interested in some sailing content, check that out. That's over at Wildly Intrepid Sailing, and that's where I normally do a lot of my YouTube footage, but I figured while I was carving I would film some of that as well. To be honest, I'm not sure how much carving I'm going to get in, at least chainsaw carving, while I'm back on the sailboats, since I actually don't own a chainsaw. So, but I did get a Dremel, and we have some knives, so I'll be doing lots of smaller carvings. Hopefully I'll find some time to do that in amongst all the fun over at the sailboat down in the Bahamas and in Florida. So, I haven't been filming, but I've kind of made myself a little work area here. I had another work area, which you guys saw before, which was fine, but I decided I wanted something a little more concealed, where I wasn't making a mess with sawdust everywhere that I had to clean up afterwards. So now I've got my own little zone. Just made it with firewood, obviously. Made myself a little rocket stove to stay warm. And this has kind of been my little spot lately. I got a little stash of some birch bark. I've been tearing it up, filling the stove up with some bark. And then I got some dried wood that I've been making fires with. Smaller pieces in here. So yeah. Anyway, this is kind of what my life has looked like lately. I've been doing lots of little carvings. Haven't been filming all of it because honestly, I realized filming anything takes a lot longer when you're trying to do it. So if I'm just trying to pound off some gifts for Christmas and stuff, if I want to be efficient, I really find when I'm filming I slow way down. So I don't always film everything. And honestly, I'm just doing this for fun anyway. So anyway, let's get this fire started. Nice and toasty. All right, we'll let that burn off. As you can see, I've been working on a couple other projects other than the bear that I really haven't worked on that at all because I wanted to film while I worked on it. But got my little Budda here that I'm going to leave behind here, just over here actually, right by the solar panels, which it's called the Zen Garden. Before the solar panels were installed, there was actually a Budda over there. So I'm making another one to replace the old one that is no longer existing. It's coming along. I made it out of two pieces of larger rotten wood. Actually, I cut off the rot Here's one piece. There's another piece for the head and torso. And then the arms are actually made from smaller branches of cedar, whereas the body and the legs are made from larch, I believe, which is a bit of a harder wood. Today, if I have some time, or tomorrow, I'm going to continue videoing some more production of this project. I'd like to get that finished. So these are kind of the last two projects I have before being done, basically. I've got a few other projects that I've been doing a lot of finishing work, so I haven't really been filming a whole lot of that. I find it, I guess, more tedious and maybe not as entertaining to watch. Maybe some of you would like to see more finishing. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure to film that in the future. Like I said, most of it may be more smaller projects for that sort of stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to warm up a little by the fire because it's freezing the last little while, and get the chainsaws going and probably pound off a little more of that. Maybe I'll show a little bit more of this project, just the kind of finishing touches, because this is going to be a rough project. It's pretty much almost finished, and then maybe we can get on the bears, but we'll see if we have time today. Also, this was my first attempt at making joints, so I kind of cut a notch out of the one branch and notched the other one in. Didn't quite get the angles right, but anyway, it was my first attempt. We got a screw here, and then a couple screws underneath holding this piece, and then of course the top is screwed to the bottom. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. For those of you who are wondering, I do all of the chainsaw portion of the carving with a Husqvarna 353 and a standard bar. I don't have a carving bar or anything fancy. This is just a borrowed chainsaw from my father-in-law. Gonna give it a quick sharpen and continue going at her. Here's my finished Budda. Really rough, but that's alright. It looks kind of cool. It's meant to be looked at from a distance, so it's alright. Alright, the Budda's all done. I got some food in my belly, and we're gonna do this carving. Get these two cubs finished and see how it turns out. Let's do it. Well, my last day of carving here at my parent-in-law's. Unfortunately, I kind of tweaked my back out this morning, so I don't know how much carving I'm actually going to be able to do. But luckily, I worked out yesterday where my last few cuts I think I need to do are. I did a little bit of hand carving, as you saw, but I didn't get it all on film. So this is where we are now with our piece. I've got a little bit more work to do on the back paws here. I've got the owl face kind of shaped in. I'm gonna have to make some cuts down here on the bottom of the nose. I'd made way too long of a nose for the size of the head. I've kind of worked on some of the claws here, just with a knife, kind of giving the claws a little more detail. And I also kind of worked out that the faces here were not proportioned correctly. So my idea here is I'm going to cut into the face a little bit on both of these, kind of give them a little bit more of a nose, so the nose sticks out a little bit. And then also on the back side here, I need the mouth to be quite a bit smaller so it actually fits in the nose area. So I need to carve away at some of this that I already did some of the furring, but that's okay. And today I am going to be using this little still MS 170 that my father-in-law lent me. I've used this Arsvana, much heavier, almost double the weight, for this past little while. Pretty much all my carving's been done with this one. But this guy's gonna be really nice for some detail and these last few cuts, especially with my sore back. So let's do this. All right, I'm gonna call that pretty much done, at least from a chainsaw perspective. And I might have a little bit more to do, but mostly it's gonna be knives and Dremel. So I'm gonna give it a quick burn and then move on to that. Well, the torch stopped working, so I'm gonna have to wait for that. Well, I was hoping to finish this project this afternoon, but perhaps I'm being a little bit over-ambitious. So I think we're about to head over to my parents' tomorrow. So I think I'm gonna bring the project there and finish it up there. Should have, my dad has a chainsaw there if I need to do any more chainsaw work. And I've got my Dremel, my knives and stuff to do the finish work. And I'm pretty sure my dad has a torch, so I'm gonna finish it off there. And unfortunately, that's probably gonna be in the next episode because well, you gotta love when you're filming for 4 minutes talking to you guys and the camera cuts out, or just the GoPro decides not to film. So I started carving just last year, actually, doing a little bit of whittling, following Doug Linker over on his YouTube channel. If you haven't checked him out, make sure to check him out if you're into whittling. But that's where I started, and doing a lot of stuff with just knives. But then more recently, I've been following Ryan Cook over on his YouTube channel, which he does a lot of chainsaw carving, and that's what really inspired me to get into the chainsaw stuff, as well as Jordy Johnson over on his channel, and he's been doing a lot of power carving with the Dremel. So I've been really inspired by a lot of different people lately, watching some stuff from Carvers Association, but there's lots of stuff out there on YouTube. But I wanted to contribute my little I won't say knowledge, because I definitely don't have a lot of knowledge, but I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. And I always find value just watching other people and the way that they do things. So hopefully I can help at least one of you with, you know, if not just entertainment, maybe even some education. But anyway, worst case, I'm just having fun doing it. So unfortunately, the carving won't be done until the next episode, so stay tuned for that. Not sure when it'll be, but we'll see what happens. I normally live on a small sailboat, so you might not see many large chainsaw carvings, but I'll still be using my my Dremel and some knives to do some smaller carvings. So I'm just gonna leave you guys. Here's my first ever carving that I did about 3 weeks ago, before I even started carving that bear that was at the beginning of this episode. So here you go. Here's a wood spirit, his face. This was all carved with the standard chainsaw, standard blade, and really not a whole lot of detail because this was me starting out. I really didn't know what I was doing. But we gotta start somewhere, right? So hopefully you guys found something interesting here, and if you did, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'll make sure to continue posting videos of myself carving and anything else that I'm working on in the near future. I'm hoping to do more sailboat related stuff, like you know, sailboats on water, some beautiful scenes, and maybe some more wood spirits, because those are really fun. So stay tuned. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.